Shalom, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Kakwadash. Double honors to our elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us his truth. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful Akim, teaching and preaching his truth with all righteousness and sincerity. The Zaki Wasap, today's lesson is entitled A Flood of Mighty Waters Overflowing in Kentucky and Vegas. And it could be more, but these two states is where I found these articles at, these reports. So, we'll be going into this through the spirit, going into judgment, which that's the spirit that's been going on in the world right now. And hey, as it's written in Zephaniah, the 3rd chapter, we'll go ahead and start off with that. Every morning doth the Lord bring his judgment to light. It's so-called monsoon season. So a lot of places like Arizona, Vegas, I'm pretty sure other parts throughout Babylon, in these particular regions, they're entering into a season where you got these, weird weather patterns and judgment is going out, and there was a article that came out that in Kentucky, 16 people died. Another thing I've been finding interesting is the death counts has been going up. It used to be 1, 2 people dying, but now it's double digits. This is Zephaniah or Tazapunya in the Hebrew, chapter 3. Let's see, verse 5. It says, the just Yahweh is in the midst thereof. For all you unbelievers and you gainsayers and you naysayers, you people who are coming in the vibration of the anti-Messiah, coming in the vibration of what is that term that they have, man? They're not unbelievers. They're unbelievers, of course, but there's a specific title for these people. Atheists. There you go. The scripts say the Lord is in the midst. So he got his hands in all the different affairs that goes on in earth, and the Lord controls everything by the angels. The just Yahweh is in the midst thereof. He will not do iniquity. And you people who try to charge the Most High with iniquity, Elder Manata Zakbar, he did a video and he showed a clip of this Edomite on TikTok going into how Satan is actually the God of the Bible. Look all the murdering he's doing. They're trying to say that the Most High is out here doing iniquity, that he's the wicked, he's Satan. But they do err, not knowing the scriptures nor the power of the Most High, right? So here in the scriptures, it says he will not do iniquity. Every morning doth he bring his judgment to light, meaning, we hear about it. Judgment goes out and we hear about it. You wake up in the morning, you're hearing all kind of breaking news of certain things that happen over the night and in the morning, recent new judgments. Every morning doth he bring his judgment to light, he faileth not. So this is ongoing. This is consistent. You can expect judgment to be going out every morning, every day. But the unjust knoweth no shame. Yeah, they're going to keep doing what they're doing and keep getting judged. So I got 2 videos. I'm going to play the short one first and Well, there's multiple videos going into the flooding in Vegas. Like I said, it's monsoon season. So, a lot of these different weather catastrophes is happening, but this is judgment. All right. Let's go into this one. KTNV. It's 2 minutes. Let's look at that.
The monsoon is providing much needed rain here to the valley, but the downpours are creating problems, especially in construction zones. Bree Guy explains the difficult challenge when land development and Mother Nature collide.
Street behind me became a moving river on Monday as storms quickly developed and dropped a lot of rain in a short amount of time. As the Las Vegas Valley continues to expand and grow, developers have to make sure that there is proper flooding prevention in place. There are many major residential housing construction projects underway across the valley, and with all that urban development changing the landscape
Okay, that's a little boring. Let's go to one of these shorts. All right, Las Vegas casinos flooded monsoon season 2022, and this is 7 hours ago.
Las Vegas monsoon season hits with a bang here in Las Vegas, with high winds and plenty of water everywhere, flooding in the streets, flooding underneath casinos. As you can see here, the waters just keep coming. And also, this is Caesars. Their roof is leaking here onto their casino floor, and Circa takes a big hit at their sports book here as massive flooding goes on their casino floors as well. Even their digital display has been damaged because of the water seeping through of a broken pipe that happened. And you can see workers here just mopping up the mess and trying to get rid of all that water. But you can see the streets are still flooded here in Las Vegas, so be careful if you're coming here in the monsoon season. We get some heavy rains for sure. Subscribe for more for Las.
Yeah, the Lord is raining down on these people parade, man. And this came out 5 hours ago, 5 and 7 hours ago, so it happened overnight. And we're in the new moon. So you ain't supposed to be out there doing this and that anyway. There's brothers that gotta work. There's brothers in Vegas that, gotta work and do particular things, but in a pleasure, if you out there doing stuff for pleasures, you can, you at the casinos, you gambling, you at shows, you at concerts, you at, clubs and bars and so on and so forth. And the Lord bringing judgment, man. All right. Um, then it's saying this is 3 days ago. It says multiple vehicles struck due to flooding in Southwest Valley. Flash flood warnings issues, and I'm sure as these stories develop and they find certain things out, there's gonna be people that's found dead. You know, it says here. Let's see.
Tropicana and Mountain Vista started to pond as heavy rain set in Wednesday night, leading to some difficult traffic and power outages. A flood advisory for the entire Las Vegas Valley ran until 12:15 a.m. Thursday morning. This while Nevada energy crews worked through the night to return power to just over 10,000 Las Vegas customers after the storms, with outages reported in about 30 locations, primarily in the Central and East Valley. The storms also bringing 60-mile-per-hour winds that were recorded at Nellis Air Force Base. The regional flood control gauge showed 0.28 inches of rain in Jean, Boulder City, and Henderson. For the Las Vegas Review Journal, I'm James Schaefer.
Yeah, so power outages, all kind of stuff going on over there, and the Mossad just getting started. Now let's get this over here in Kentucky. They're saying at least 8 dead, but this is from earlier today, and I got an updated report saying it was 16 people that was put to death. So we're gonna look at it a little bit of this and then hit these precepts and get out. We're just going into how judgment is going out. All right, the Lord is visiting the earth in which He made. And there's particular ways He make His appearances.
Is coming into sharper focus, as is a climbing death count.
We've already lost at least 8, but I know there are many more than that.
Kentucky is under a state of.
He said that he knows that there's many more than that. So as I mentioned earlier, the new report says 16, so it could be, hundreds. Who knows? Let's tune in.
Of emergency from above the town of Hinman. A look at the widespread damage with homes and businesses underwater.
We still have no water. Sewer system is down. We're totally shut down.
Hinman's mayor telling us the flood has displaced and devastated many residents of this small community. Water rescues still underway to help people stranded. The National Guard stepping in to help by air and on the ground, along with other first responders. Just days before the first day of classes were set to begin, this school, heavily damaged by the storm, now filled with debris. In neighborhood after neighborhood, scenes of widespread ruin. Creeks and rivers overflowing into roads, now filled with murky water.
Creeks and rivers overflowing. All right. And that goes into the precept that we have here loaded up in Isaiah 28. Let's go ahead and tune into that. This is Isaiah 28. Isaiah, or Yeshaya in the Hebrew, he was an Israelite, a prophet during the time of the kings. He was King Hezekiah advisor. All right. It's a little background. This is Isaiah 28:2. Behold, the Lord with a mighty and strong one, which as a tempest of hail and a destroying storm. And that's what we saw, a destroying storm, a monsoon. Okay. It says, as a flood of mighty waters overflowing. She mentioned how creeks, rivers, certain banks were overflowing. It says, shall cast down to the earth with the hand. So what is this? This is judgment. Now I want to look up this word monsoon just to see what it say. Never looked it up. Monsoon. Monsoon. It says a seasonal. So it's just it's consistent. It always, there's a pattern. Prevailing wind in the region South and Southeast Asia, born from the Southwest between May, September, bringing rain, the wet monsoon, or from the Northeast between October and April, a dry monsoon. So we're seeing a wet monsoon happen. All right, and the Lord is bringing judgment right along with it. So that's the word monsoon, right? So once again, Isaiah 28:2, behold, the Lord hath a mighty and strong one, which has a tempest of hail and a destroying storm, hurricanes, twisters, tornadoes, monsoons, all these different, weather phenomenons, they're sent as judgment. And, a lot of areas in that Midwest, Kentucky, in that region, a lot of farmers and ranchers are over there. So I'm pretty sure they're dealing with crops being destroyed, which I'm actually load up this here in Second Esdras, because a part of the judgment, the end time judgments, end time prophecies, these farmers is going to be suffering by way of weather phenomenons. Let me hit this real quick in Second Esdras 15. And 13, it says, I started 12 to build up the vibration. Egypt shall mourn. This is talking about Babylon the Great. When you read Revelation 11 and 8, it speaks about the great city being spiritually known as Sodom and Egypt. So it says Egypt shall mourn. And you see that. It's mourning economically. All right, the inflation, the goods and services, these jobs, the gas, the energy prices, all these different things that is pretty much destroying people's savings. People's mourning, certain privileges, the Roe versus Wade, certain insurrections and rebellions, things of that sort. It's just going to intensify. It says, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. Now, ultimately, the plague is thermonuclear destruction by way of the ICBM missiles during World War III, as well as fire being shot out of the chariots of Israel, which the world calls those UFOs. But leading up to that, you're going to have certain punishments, and these monsoons, these strange weather events, these strange weather patterns, it's just going to intensify, So it's all a part of end time prophecies. It says, they that till the ground, these are the farmers, the ranchers, shall mourn. Why? For their seed shall fail through the blasting and hail, all right, extreme heat, these tornadoes, twisters, hurricanes, monsoons, all destroying, these farms. And a fearful consolation, these farmers, they deal with the Farmer's Almanac. So they have particular wisdom that they're able to look up into the heavens to read the stars and the positions of them to figure out if they're going to have a successful farming year. So, things ain't going to be working out in the farmer's favor. And we see that. I did a lesson a couple of days ago going into how, these farmers, they're suffering so bad economically that they're selling off their cattle in unprecedented numbers, you know? So that's going to aid into the global starvation, or as what Esau calls it, food insecurity. So now when we go back here to, where were we? To this video, we'll just look at it a little bit more, and you see the devastation and things that's happening over here, man.
Some floodwaters even high enough to cover this bridge passing through the town of Garrett. A similar storm slamming St. Louis earlier this week.
It was rising so quickly, we just weren't prepared for it.
It's part of a wave of severe weather across the country this week. And over
Severe weather across the country, all right? And as that lady said, we wasn't prepared for it. And that's how the Lord is coming. He's coming as a thief in the night, meaning he's coming at a time where you got what people least expect it, and you're not going to be prepared. You understand?
overnight, storms fueling flash floods in Las Vegas. Strong wind gusts and heavy rains barreling down, even sending water pouring inside some casinos on the Strip. Back in Kentucky, officials say recovery efforts could take weeks or even years in the hardest hit places across the state. And while the cleanup is just beginning for so many, residents are staying positive despite losing so much.
All right, we're gonna leave it there, and then you can go back. I'll put it in the chat if you want to, examine it and potentially do a lesson on it. And shalom to the brothers and the sisters on the comment board. All right, that's there. So let's go ahead and go get a couple more precepts. Let's get Isaiah 29 and 5. It says 6, Lakia. Thou shalt be visited of Yahweh of hosts with thunder and with earthquake, great noise, with the storm and tempest, and the flame of devouring fire. So you got wildfire season out here on the west. Different areas is getting set ablaze. From the extreme drought and the elevated temperatures. That mixed together is causing different areas, especially in the valleys and the desert-like areas, to catch fire. So firefighters is out there fighting these blazes, but it's judgment of the Lord. We'll read this again, Isaiah 29 and 6. Thou shalt be visited of Yahweh of hosts with thunder and with earthquake and great noise, with storm and tempest in a flame of devouring fire. Now Esau calls this global warming, climate change. All right, we call it the judgment of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And this is going to intensify. I got this in Ecclesiastes chapter 40, verse 9. It says, death and bloodshed, strife and sword, calamities. All right, these weather events is causing calamities. Power outages in certain areas. Overflowing waters hitting communities to where they're saying it'll take weeks, months, or even years to repair those areas that are heavily impacted by these weather phenomena. So those are calamities, man. People is finding out to be dead in the morning. Famine, we see that. Tribulation, which is Jacob's trouble, and the scourge. These things are created for the wicked, and for their sakes came the flood. So a lot of the judgments that we seeing happening and people getting caught out in that judgment, that was created for the wicked. Us that are in the truth, the believers who have made this truth our habitation, we ain't got to worry about certain things. And if you do find yourself going through such things, it's a trial of your faith. All right. And let's get some comfort. Here you go, Ecclesiastes 33. And 1, there shall no evil happen unto him that feareth the Lord, but in temptation, even again, he will deliver them. So you may experience temptation or trials, tribulations, afflictions, chastisement. All right, but the Lord will deliver you. You got to keep the faith and believe, So, as I mentioned, if brothers and sisters are caught out in certain things, keep the faith, man, So we got that in Isaiah 29. We got that in Isaiah 28. We went into Zephaniah, the 3rd chapter, going into how the Lord is bringing forth his judgment every day. And also, we read about, here the prophecy in 2 Esdras 15, verse 13, how these farmers is going to mourn because they're going to get, you know, their fields and all that stuff destroyed by these weather phenomena. So we're in the time of major judgment. And also to add on to these different weather phenomena, you got an uptick of people getting, you know, mauled by animals. You know, love of many is waxing cold. Let's get that in Matthew, the 24th chapter. You know, a lot of people, you know, is getting killed, murdered. All right. A lot of men is killing these women. A lot of women is being found, you know, raped and sexually harassed, you know, and all this stuff that we see in the earth is the beginning of sorrows. This is Matthew 24, verse 8. All these are the begin. Let me start up a little bit. Matthew 24 and 7, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines. That's plural. You know, the situation that we seen in Sri Lanka, you know, different areas throughout Southeast Asia, South America, all right, Haiti, you know, different places in Africa. You know, these famines is taking place. All right. Pestilences, different diseases. You got the monkey business going on right now. And you got people getting hit with C-19 and the monkey business all in one, you know, and it's all judgment and earthquakes in diverse places. So you got these things happening in all over the world. It says all these are the beginning of sorrows. This is the beginning of sorrows. Things is going to get worse here. You know, when you read 2 Esdras 14 and you start the 14th verse on down, chiefly the 16th verse, it speaks about yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen shall happen, shall be done hereafter. So what we see right now is just the beginning of the Most High getting his judgments out. Things is going to get worse. And when you go down a little bit, all right, let's hit the 11th verse. And many false prophets shall arise. Yeah, these, you know, false leaders, false religious leaders, you know, that spring up out of nowhere thinking that they got the answers, pushing that, you know, Jesus Christ vibration, the Christian Baptist Church vibration. All those is false prophets. And these guys has been getting judged. You know, it was a guy recently that got robbed of over $1 million in jewelry, a pastor, you know, which it could have been set up, you know, for insurance fraud. But these different religious leaders are getting judged, you know, for many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. You don't want to get deceived out there. The Lord ain't at the Christian church, the Baptist church, the Catholic church. You know, it's one truth, one spirit. You understand? And starting with the apostles on down to us younger brothers, the truth is coming out and it's flowing out abundantly. You know, so if you getting deceived out here, man, the Lord has closed your eyes and your ears, man. It says, because iniquity shall abound is increase. Iniquity is sin upon sin. The love of many shall wax cold. And that's the time that we're in. We're in the time of these strange weather phenomenons, iniquity abounding. You see, the nigga woman out here just completely lost her damn mind. Every time you turn around, she twerking or she ass naked. Or she in the nigga face. Or, you know, she's getting judged. You know, you got these street dudes, these niggas of the world, they continually getting shot, murdered. Every time you turn on the internet, go on YouTube, there's a new rapper that was just put to death. So iniquity is abounding, increasing, you know. As it says here, the love of many shall wax cold. So all that love your neighbor's spirit and so on and so forth, all that's going to be done away with. That's why you want to cherish the brotherhood, because the love of the brotherhood ain't going to wax cold. But he that shall endure to the end, the same shall be saved. And that's a cut to you Christians that speak about, oh, I'm saved. You ain't saved yet. Salvation is going to happen when you're delivered out of the tribulation, you know. But you got to endure all these different things that's coming upon the world, man. You know, so major judgment is going out. Like I said, monsoon season hitting a lot of these places in these regions where they get affected by, you know, these different weather phenomenons. You got the debt and financial crisis. You understand? They coin us to be in a recession. You know, there was two quarters of negative GDP, which that is basically a recession. Now, if it's 4 quarters, you know, if we hit January and this negative GDP, which GDP is global domestic product, it's a measure of, you know, the economy. If we hit January and those numbers are still negative, then they will consider that a depression. You understand? So, you know, a lot of people's finna be losing jobs. A lot of people is finna be losing their mind. Then you got the war on gas situation happen with these farmers, the feed, the fertilizer, the fuel. All of these things is getting expensive. So, you know, it's gonna be a lot of things that's gonna be happening, you know, coming in these days. But we're at the end. So these are the beginning of sorrow. So Lord willing, you are edified through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, the true names of the Heavenly Father, and his only begotten Son, whom the world ignorantly calls Lord God and Jesus Christ. And double honors to our elders and apostles, a great millstone that taught us his truth. Shalom Akim, stay strong.